Okay, so today in the land of the broken toys, we have my Bobcat 743. Let me see if I could show you what the problem is first before we jump into this. Alright, so problem number one is that creep, but we're not going to be dealing with that now. We'll see how it goes. That's a whole nother thing. So the main problem is that proportioning valve right down there. Let me see if I can set you up and then get it to leak, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so it seems to me when I go left foot, that's the bucket raised and lower. When I go into the down position, it really starts leaking. So the bucket's up right now, and if I toe down, okay, now I can be underneath it. Not that I think that that's gonna let go, but who the hell knows? I don't want to be underneath it to find out. So now, but now I can actually like work here. It's this thing, and it's just the top one. I don't notice the bottom one leaking at all, although it is kind of hard to tell. Part of me thinks like if I'm gonna take this out, I might as well take them all out and replace all the seals. I mean, I know that's more work, but I mean, it looks like to get to this, you got to take all of these lines off. And then I know that that just takes you unhooks the linkage here, but you have to like pull it out from the back. Let's go take a look at that. You know, looking at it, I don't know that I need to pull the engine to get that. I think if I got this battery out of the way that I'm propped on top of, I might be able to just slide that thing out. I'd like to avoid getting it out of here. Although, if I had the engine out, then I could get it really clean in here. Just a lot of dirt. So the first obstacle is going to be getting this off. This is the main hydraulic feed from the reservoir. So I have a feeling once I crack this, it's gonna make a mess. So I'm just gonna be prepared for that. I bought this on Amazon, and it's got a bunch of like jig fitting covers. So hopefully we'll have the right one ready when she blows, and we can screw that on there. All right, 1.25 inch wrench on this. Let's see if I can. Once this comes off, it's nothing between the reservoir and this hose. It's probably gonna come gushing out. Yes, it is. Okay. It's 1 inch wrench. Getting bad quickly. I had to undo this so I can get a little slack on this with a pry bar so that I could undo this to push it out of here. So now I have a little bit more room with this linkage thing here and this guy. Not much, but let's see if it's enough to get an Allen key in there. Oh yeah. That's it. I think this just is off this thing. It's just the boot, yeah. and then you just pull this through. Okay. This just kind of slid off that. It's really just a cap. That's all it is. Now that that is free, we can unscrew it from the back and pull it through. I guess it should just come right out now. Let's see. How lucky are we? Okay. So I just pulled off the cap, and the two little ball bearings are in there. Alright, that didn't go the way I wanted to. But let me see if I, maybe if I can push it from the other side. Okay. Wow. All right, huge safety note here. Wow, that could have been really terrible. When I released that pressure on that little spool valve, all of a sudden the arm has no, there's nothing holding it up. So one, good thing I had it up like that, because that probably would have slammed onto the ground. However, then it being on jack stands, the thing just slowly leaned back. So it's not total end of the world. I crushed my garbage can, and it's just a good thing I wasn't underneath there. That could have been a hell of a lot worse. But the thing is free now. Man, that happened so fast. Holy crap. Okay, so now, yeah, remember there's nothing holding this except for that strap. So be careful here. Oh yeah. Claim your prize. All right, this is my best assessment of this. I'm certainly no mechanic when it comes to this stuff, but so I made the first mistake I made was pulling on this, which in reviewing a bunch of videos and other people doing it, that they're like, don't do that. So I was successful in doing that. Luckily, I've still got both ball bearings on the spring, so there's that. Luckily, in my case, the float worked well, so I'm not going to mess with that. I might clean this up a little bit. So I think my leak could be coming from one or two things. I went back and looked and found this O-ring. It was still in there. This is pretty loose on here, and it feels like really flimsy. Now it's not cracked or anything like that. I just think it's worn out. Like I would imagine that this, see how this is like spinning on here, and almost I don't know if you can see that, but there's like a gap there. Like if I just tighten this thing, I can see daylight through there. So I think this just needs to be tighter. So a new one would probably do the trick there. And then because fluid's getting past that, I don't know whether I did this in the interim of taking it apart or if it was like this, but this boot has a rip in it. So I think the fluid was getting past that O-ring, getting into this boot, and then just dribbling down the side here. So I think what I need to do is get an O-ring kit for this and then get a new boot, and I should be able to hopefully put this back together in reverse order. Everything else looks pretty good. I mean, the thing was functioning. It's not like it wasn't working. It just was leaking out the front. All right, just one thing before I go get the parts. I'm gonna take this apart so I can clean it and then just have it ready to go. It looks like this just kind of squishes up through here. Oh, I see. So it didn't have to squish through there. It just was stuck to this. So all right, we'll get another one of these. I'll clean all this stuff up and then we'll be ready to go. All right, I'm gonna order some parts and then when they come in, we'll get back to fixing this. All right, successful trip to the Bobcat dealer. If you own one of these machines, I recommend that you get to know the folks down at the dealership because, you know, you could do a lot of research yourself online, you know, looking up part numbers and stuff, but really there's nothing more efficient than just going and talking to a tech. So I went down there to Metro Bobcat, my local dealer, and got to talking to one of the techs, and, you know, I brought him the parts. You know, I brought him the spool valve and all my little parts and my notes and things, and the guy was super helpful. He was like talking about the seals that I needed, and we looked it up, and there were like all these different types of seals. I was looking at buying an entire kit when all I really needed was this quad ring seal. So he was able to identify that, and then he gave me this part number here. And so I was actually able to just order the seals themselves. I was able to get these parts online. The dealer wanted, let's see, whoever I got this on eBay. So the guy paid $1.45 for it. The dealer wanted $55. I paid $15. So I got two of them. There's 5 in each, and you need 2 on each spool. So we're good there. And then I got 4 of these boots. So that's really all I need to do this project. Now, I just discovered something else peculiar. Let me show you. Really, for me, it was just this top one that's leaking. The tech said, if you're in here, you know, do them all. Okay, cool. So this one is for the right foot. And then the aux, if I go on the stick, right and left, you might be able to see the bottom one moving. But you may not be able to see it here, but the third one, this one down here, it's not even hooked up to anything. That actually has no function. So I'm kind of debating the aux is fine. Like, do I want to mess with it? So in reality, I really probably only need to do 3. I'm gonna move on to that second one. I know since I've come this far, I think it's just a matter of getting that linkage off, which it looks like it needs to get cleaned up anyway. Replace that boot, replace those rings, and then we'll see how it goes. My other concern is getting, if I'm doing the aux, to get that bottom one out. Like the second one down looks like no problem. The third one probably could get out, but that's not actually attached to anything. But that bottom one is being blocked by this line right here. So I guess we're gonna have to take it one step at a time. Okay, one other little bit I learned. This orange thing here is a safety. Now, if you work on these Bobcats all the time, that may seem obvious, but that wasn't obvious to me. When I showed the picture to the tech about, you know, the bucket tied off and everything, he was like, where's your safety? Apparently they're supposed to come with the Bobcat. Mine didn't have it, so now I've got one. And I feel a lot better about this. And yes, I probably should have taken the forks off of it, but, you know, what do I know? So here we go. Now I've got the safety on. I feel a lot better about being underneath this thing. All right, so let's see if we can get this next set of linkages off here. It's pretty easy. Just pull this little cotter pin. Am I supposed to get that? Oh. I guess you gotta take all 3 of them off. It's lame. Well, that'll be a real joy to put back on. I had to just kind of wriggle it out of there. This wouldn't come out against the wall, so I'm gonna just try to leave this together as one piece, and hopefully it won't fight me too much going back on. All right, I got the linkage out of the way here. Let's see if we can crack these. But what I had to do is I can't get to the lower bolt on this, so I just ripped the boot off so I could see it better, because I'm just gonna replace it, so it doesn't matter. All right, let's see if we can get that off. So that's just the cover, and there should be, yep. And then there's like this washer. So let's see. The O-ring should still be in there, I think. Yeah. So since that valve controls the heel toe of the bucket, you know, the fork go up and down, I'm assuming that that's gonna go limp. So it's already out a little bit of the ways. I have it tied off. I'm assuming that when I pull that spool valve, the thing's just gonna go limp. So hopefully my straps will catch it. Guess we'll find out. Okay, safety measure, actually. I just decided to put this jack stand under here. So if it does let go, hopefully it'll take some of the weight. Won't be come crashing down. All right, so I'm assuming if I pull that, we're gonna get some kind of reaction in the front. So, pucker factor here. Of course, this hard line is in my way now. All right, so we missed the action. I was able to get it out just by pushing the hard line down. I thought I was gonna have to remove it. In fact, I tried to remove it, but it just wasn't going so well. So anyway, I lucked out. All right, let's see about getting these new O-rings on here. So there's one on the front here, and then another one, I mean on the back, and then on the front, and it sits against this little washer. And then there's like let's see, actually it like sits in this little notch, and then that washer pushes against it. So the third one down doesn't do anything. It's not actually attached to anything. I could be wrong about that. And then the fourth one is the aux, which I barely use. It's only for like the grappler. Okay, so here's the new seals. Okay, before I put this on there, I'm gonna dip it in some hydro just to kind of get it. I don't know if it says whatever. Okay, so I just got that lubed up here. We'll take this old one off. Now, I don't think this one was leaking, but we're already in here, so. The guy at the shop said do them all, but you know, I'm like weekend warrior with this thing. Knowing what I know now, I suppose wouldn't be that hard. I had to get back in here. At that point, I would definitely pull the engine. There's all kinds of crap in the way. So that's all the way against it. Now I'm going to see if I can push it back in, and then I'll take this one and put it on the front. There's probably, I got to pull the old seal out. All right, let's see if we can get this guy back in there. Why does that seem so much easier getting it out this time? I just had to pull the hard line out of the way just a little bit to get it lined up. All right, let's see if we can get the front back on. All right, good. Actually, I don't have my light here, but when I pushed this thing back in, it pushed out the old seals. So let's make sure we don't reuse that guy. All right, let's see if we can get this old boot off of here. So this goes in against the spool, and then the boot sits, I guess, like this. Yeah. I'm gonna go clean these parts up. Here's the new boot. I think you just kind of press it through here. That's pretty good. And then it just sits against it like this. So, okay, got our new seal here. So let's grab this and we'll put the seal on, and then we'll see if we can get this back on. Okay. That's gonna sit right there. Nice. I was playing with it backwards, so okay. It's gonna go with the flange out because it's gonna sit flat in there, hopefully. Yep. And then put this guy over it. Tight fit on rubber, there it goes. sure there's some kind of torque spec here, but whatever. So I got those 3 on. Now I'm gonna turn it 90 degrees counterclockwise like that, so they can't come off, hopefully. I'll rotate. Now put the Alright, that's connected. And let's see what happens if I push the pedal down now. Back, forward. Alright, seems to be working. Let's get the next one on. Okay, I think this is on here. We don't want to pull this because there's like a spring and some balls. That this is the float control for the bucket. So we've got it set. Once we push that in there, we're gonna put this cap over it like so, and then there's a C-clip that goes over this. Yeah, so let's get these old seals off of here. I'll take these seals and I'm gonna, same thing, I'll put them in the oil and lube them up a little bit. Okay, so let's push this in from the back of the machine, and then we'll put the seal on the front and put the linkages back on. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put that cap on first with the C-clip, and then just try to push it in as one assembly. Interesting, it's kind of fighting me here. I wonder if it's just a matter of like getting the right angle or something. Okay, hold on a minute. I don't want to pull it. I don't know. I don't want to pull the cap off because all the ball thing will come out. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Just had to kind of work it a little bit. Definitely need one of these like super long extensions. I don't know how you would do it without it. And see if we can get the front seal and the boot and linkage on. Alright, I'll put the seal on. Here it is. Nice. The linkage bar, it's underneath this thing, but it's sitting like kind of like this, and so I'm going to attach this to this other piece with these dowels. Okay, I got the linkage on. I had to stop recording, just the camera was in the way, but I hope I got this right. I think it goes in this position. There was another option over here, but based on the way the linkage lined up on the other side, I'm hoping it's this one. So I think we're good to start putting some of the lines back together. I got to reconnect this linkage on the other side, but we have a new seal in here and a new seal in there and 2 new boots, and the backs are tightened up. So let's put the linkage back on the other side and we'll start putting these lines on. Okay, I don't know if you could see that, but the linkage, now it doesn't line up. The hole here is too far back, so that top linkage needs to come forward in order for it to line up in the neutral position, which means that it needs to go in the other pin. So let's go undo that on the side and then see if this works. All right, I have the pin now in the other position, so let's go see if that works on the other side better. There we go. All right, I got it on there. I think that's the right way because there's dirt on that end of that linkage, which means it was exposed previously, which hopefully means it's in the right position. Okay, let's get the hard lines on. Looks like, see this scoring here, this looks like it goes underneath this hose here. Okay. She's a gusher. All right, I spent a few minutes cleaning out the engine compartment here. I was hoping to maybe, you know, if I can get this thing running again and outside, I might hit it again with pressure washer, but you know, I did a pretty good job. This was all caked with mud and grease, and did the same thing over here. So now we're gonna put the battery tray back in. I've got the battery on the charger. We're gonna hook this thing up and see what we got. Okay, so amidst all the dirt and stuff, I actually found that there's like some kind of a battery. There was a battery tray. I didn't even know this was in here. Okay, that line's up there. And then there's this guy, you know, which is probably like a battery clamp. Let's just get the battery in here for now, and then we'll come up with something to line up. Careful not to touch my knuckles to the frame there. I got a little zinger. All right, let's see what we got. All right, here we go. See what happens. glasses I took off seem okay. The second one looks okay. Now we gotta try the first one. That's the one that was the problem. Ah, shit. It's already leaking. All right, day 2. I'm back at it. I had to take off all the hard lines again just to get in here. Sure what happened here. So if you could see the washers in there. I don't know if I need to pop that out from the back because I think what I need to do actually is, yeah, I think I gotta undo the screws from the back and push this through. So that I can get I gotta get that shaft out of there so I can pull the seal. I'm gonna inspect the cavity that seal sits in, because I'm wondering if, you know, maybe there's a piece of dirt or something in there. To be honest, I actually didn't really take much time to inspect it the first time, which was a mistake. So, I mean, obviously it was leaking for a reason, so maybe I missed something. Okay, I'm gonna get that out of there and we'll take a look. Sure what happened here. So if you could see the washers in there. I don't know if I need to pop that out from the back because I think what I need to do actually is, yeah, I think I gotta undo the screws from the back and push this through so that I can get I gotta get that shaft out of there so I can pull the seal. I'm going to inspect the cavity that seal sits in, because I'm wondering if, you know, maybe there's a piece of dirt or something in there. To be honest, I actually didn't really take much time to inspect it the first time, which was a mistake. So, I mean, obviously it was leaking for a reason, so maybe I missed something. Okay, I'm going to get that out of there and we'll take a look. Sure what happened here. So if you could see the washers in there. I don't know if I need to pop that out from the back because I think okay, just a little tip here. I couldn't get the O-ring to go like seat on the shaft here, and I was like trying to push the plunger in and it wasn't going well, so I just got myself a little itty bitty flathead and I just kind of gently went around this and was able to press the seal against the seat inside the cavity there. So hopefully that'll do the trick. Let's see. I'll grab the plunger. Let's see, because I want this to sit nice and flush. There we go. Yeah, that's it. Because before it had a gap sticking out of there, so I feel a little better about that. All right, I'm gonna get this thing put back together and we'll see what we got. Now we've got the valve back together, hopefully with the plungers in the right direction this time. Let's start her up and see what happens. Baby, no leaking. We gotta wait for some fluid to get in there before we can really determine anything. think we may have fixed it. We're not leaking anymore. I mean, it'll be hard to tell unless I start putting some pressure on the thing, but the boom is down and no drips. I think what we'll do now is take this opportunity to clean the machine up a little bit, get some of that grease out of there so that if it does start leaking again, I can at least tell where it's coming from. And then it's a beautiful day outside. We'll take it out and test her out. All right, well, I give it a 95% success. I seem to have lost my float position, which kind of sucks because that was useful. So it's something to do with the little ball thing and the springs I put back together. So that kind of blows. But you know, by now I would expect to see fluid pouring out of there, especially because we're kind of on a little embankment here. So that's good. It doesn't seem to be losing any fluid. I'm gonna let it sit here for a little bit and just keep an eye on it. All right, so I think we got it. A little disappointed about the float not working anymore because that was pretty useful. So maybe next time I'm in there, I'll mess around with it, but I'm just gonna leave it for now. It's working, it doesn't seem to be dripping, so success. All right, I'm finished cleaning up and let's get on to the next project.